It's an area rich with history that we are soon about to discover. Located on the southern side of Nairobi, just off Ngong Road, this week's episode of Area Code welcomes you inside a neighborhood that hosted a man who would later become an East African president.
Museveni lived in those machine zile ziko hapo. See, as you came on the road, hapo hivyo. He lived there, Museveni, during those struggle time, yake.
From the well-lined maisonettes to the beautifully constructed flats, Jamhuri Estate was designed purposefully to be the model estate for the rest of the country once Kenya attained her independence.
When I came here, this place was bushy. It was complete bush. In fact, outside there were several mugumo trees, which I had to remove.
But now, the face and image of the estate has not only changed, it has dwindled, and the residents are not a happy lot.
But there's nothing we can do. But I think those of these kind of things which are happening is due to the corruption. Because if initially, and there was a certain kind of a plan, how we should stay here with the families, and then somebody else come and converts the residential houses into a commercial building, then we found it is not safe. We find that there are some bylaws which are violated, which was not according to the initial plan which was there.
Area Code Jamhuri Estate kicks off now. Immediately, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta assumed power once Kenya attained independence. Plans were kick-started to have a local housing project for Kenyans that would serve as a benchmark of how estates in Nairobi and indeed the country were to be constructed. A 6-year feasibility study would be conducted and the Nairobi City Council would begin sourcing for funds. Then about 7 million shillings needed to begin the construction exercise. Financing would ultimately come from the Commonwealth Development Corporation, and the Nairobi City Council would begin construction of more than 300 housing units. The project ended in late 1968, and the next year, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta officially opened the estate for occupation. The target was mainly the middle-income earners of Nairobi.
November 1.
Hey, you remember even the date?
I remember even the date.
Felicity Gatebu's husband was among the estate's pioneer occupants. She remembers a neighborhood that was the envy of many of the city residents post-independence.
When we moved in, actually, it was a nice place. It was clean. It used to be tended. City Council was very, very particular with this estate. Yeah, it was good. It was good. That was tukasema ni kama sasa.
Back then, the road was well paved and the lawns well trimmed. There were only 2 types of houses built in Jamhuri Estate. The first were maisonettes, nearly 200 of them, comprising of 3-bedroom housing units. The second type are flats that consists of 2-bedroom houses spread across a 75-acre piece of land. Government's intention in constructing the houses was to provide the Nairobi population with affordable, decent housing as well as facilitate home ownership among the local population. It is for that reason that the Nairobi City Council decided to sell off the maisonettes to willing buyers in what was known as the tenant purchase scheme. The 3-bedroom houses were mortgaged off for a total of 65,000 shillings in 1970, an amount that was payable over a 15-year period. The council, however, decided to hold on to the flats and thus rented them out mainly to the Nairobi City Council staff who occupied their houses at relatively cheap prices for rent.
Watu wanakomboa wanalipa City Council and the price was 450.
Shillings?
Shillings, yes.
For rent?
For rent was 450. Ikarudi ikakuja 500. Yeah. But 500 was a lot of money.
At that time. Because the financing for construction came from the Commonwealth Development Corporation, the houses had to meet the United Nations Habitat Standards. This meant that Jamhuri would become one of the few estates in Nairobi that had adequate open fields and was regularly maintained by personnel from the Nairobi City Council.
Zamani, we had a group of people, was City Council, who were assigned here. They used to come every day to sweep, to collect rubbish. When the grass grows, they come with a tractor and they cut the grass. These days we don't do that.
Do you remember maybe the time period when that stopped? When those services yatakuwa rendered?
Kutoka the 90s, kutoka late 80s.
From late 80s?
Maybe 1991, 92, hapo. Then
ikaisha. And those people who ambao walikuwa nakuja kusweep, they were paid by...
They were City Council employees.
Or they were City Council
They were City Council employees.
Coming every week.
Coming every day. They were assigned this estate.
But all that now is just but a tale that Felicity will be telling her grandchildren. Gone are the days when Kanjo, as they are popularly known, would help maintain all City Council estates. Now, residents have to procure the services from outsiders who do most of the waste management in Jamhuri. Still, it isn't hard to notice that the estate's beauty indeed has faded over time.
There's no maintenance that happens in. Like now, if you check, like now, our flat here, even painting has never been done since. It's only those people who are able to repaint their house. You resurface your house.
And the resurfacing, like this tenant who has since decided to paint their balcony, is done at your own expense. But despite that, you'll rarely ever see anyone move out of the estate. That's because rent rates here are among Nairobi's most affordable. In Jamhuri Estate, 3-bedroom houses are rented out by the Nairobi City County for as low as 10,000 Kenya shillings a month.
Oh, but the roads were new. When we moved in, they were newer than what... Yeah, now they are dilapidated because they are not taken care of. You know, everything ages. So if you don't keep on maintaining, that's how it is.
And you really don't need anyone to tell you how of age this particular estate is. On occasion, you come by such a street where vehicles that have since been outfaced continue to persist. Jamhuri's past was so affluent, the estate would attract a rare occupancy in the form of one Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who lived here in the mid-1980s after relocating from California estate, where he would often visit his uncle.
Museveni lived in those mashine hizi zile ziko hapo. See, as you came on the road, as you came on the road, hapo higo. He lived there, Museveni, during those struggle time, hiyo yake.
For how long?
Oh, he lived for quite a while. I don't know. Maybe the children are the ones who would know how long he lived.
He stayed with the family?
Yeah, he stayed with, he had a family.
Oh.
He had a family.
What? Did people know it was Museveni? Ama you came and later ndio mkajua? Okay.
No, alijulikana. Watu wanamjua, walikuwa wanamjua. The children knew him. Mimi kwanza sikumjua, nilirudi kumjua baadaye.
What kind of a neighbor was he?
I wouldn't know, but I don't think, you know, he was not so much into the limelight, but he was good. I don't think there was any quarrel with him, with anybody.
But that legacy would be subjected to possible jeopardy thanks to a corrupt City Hall cartel that sold off most of the estate's open spaces, forcing numerous court interventions and ultimately leading to misery and strain for the estate's residents.
You can see there's nothing. There's nothing. Even sahanis, they're piling.
And you're not guaranteed when next it will
We
come?
are not guaranteed unless we go there 2 times, 3 times. Then we are at their mercy. They open for us when they want.
How much do you spend on water alone as a household in a month? This?
You can spend even 4,000. Like now in my own house, you can spend even 4,000.
Just manage to
Yes.
get food in.
Haujaongea mambo zingine.
Do you receive water bills?
Yeah, they come and see we tell them. Because honestly, you cannot pay for something you've not got. We normally buy water. We go get water. That's the only problem. Water. In Nairobi, you're staying in Nairobi, a city without water.
That and much more coming up right after the break.